This is a book summary of Thick Face, Black Heart by Chin-Ning Chu. A guide to achieving success in this twisted world where social conditioning has warped our sense of rightness. A highly recommended read. The main message of the book is that of, you guessed it, thick face and black heart. Mrs. Chu talks about these two things as the keys to creating the freedom to execute on the actions that are necessary. It's about getting what you want, period. Thick face is a shield to protect your self-esteem. It's about not caring what anyone thinks of you. The ability to cast self-doubt aside and refuse to accept the limits anyone projects onto you. It's about breaking the mental chains that were put onto you by your environment. By creating your own self-image, you create an environment from where you can act freely. Instead of letting other people determine your actions, you deflect their judgments and expectations with your thick face. Black heart is a spear to cut through and take action. It's the killer instinct for the execution of the actions that are necessary. The black-hearted are above short-sighted compassion. Character is not all sunshine and roses. It is forged on the anvil of adversity. With a black heart, you can focus all your attention on your goals and ignore the cost. These two attributes are two sides of the same coin. The thick face is about creating a mental environment where you are free of judgment. This way you increase the circle of possibility. What previously seemed impossible now comes into reach. For this mental environment created by the thick face, the black heart can cut through the victim mentalities and other barriers to achieve the things that need to be achieved. Before someone can really take action, it needs to seem possible in his mind. The author talks about 7 steps of unfolding that a person goes through to achieve our natural state that was taken from us by social conditioning. Our natural state was one of endless possibility, but our interaction with the world, our endless possibility became confined. The 7 steps of unfolding is the process that anyone goes through to redefine the possible. The first step, desire to do right. This is the straight up people pleaser. In our upbringing, we are taught that the highest prize is the approval of others. To do nice things for other people and not expect something back. Most of the time though, you do get surprised by always getting put in the corner and not getting respected for just being nice. Because of this, you feel desperate, dejected and disheartened. This results in a manifestation of the next stage. After a while of confusion and negativity, you gain insight into the next stage. The fact that you are denying and depriving yourself, afraid to acknowledge your basic needs. The fact is that when somebody hits you, you are supposed to turn the other cheek. But sometimes you need to hit back. Turning the other cheek because you're afraid doesn't make you morally superior, it makes you a coward. The insight is that you need to stay real to your inner self, not the one you are supposed to be. The third stage is the battle for surrender. It leads up to the point that the pain of living under other people's standards has become intolerable. You feel guilty for breaking integrity with the one you are supposed to be. You are in the slow process of accepting the real you and all the wrong emotions and actions that come with that. In the end, you decide that living a life of self-denial is no viable option. That self-expression is the only right way, even with the guilt that comes with that. Slowly, you are detaching yourself from society's worldview and creating your own. You remove the mind parasite that is social conditioning and become less judgmental of yourself. Your need for self-nurture has become more important than the expectations of others. So you begin to break integrity with your old self. You're shedding your old skin. The people will think you have become self-centered and inconsiderate. You receive a lot of resistance from your surroundings. You are in agony over abandoning the old you and you are in ecstasy over the possible new realms. You are responding to the scream from within saying, I only have one life to live. I want to live as me. As you become steadier and more centered in yourself, your natural thick-faced black heart comes to the surface. Like a magnet, the old and unworthy will drop from your life, and you will draw new and exciting events and people because like attracts like. You will not react in old ways, but break out behavior patterns. At this moment, your own mental landscape has stabilized to the point that you can now take actions on your own desires. As time goes by, you slowly begin to develop peace and tranquility. This in turn sprouts into love for others out of love for yourself. You develop this love not because you are supposed to or because you'll feel guilty if you don't, but because you see yourself in other people. You see your past judgments, your fears, your hardships in other people. At this point, when someone slaps you in the face, you have a choice: to slap back twice or to turn the other cheek. The actions will be based on the results you are looking for. The last stage is one of detachment. Detachment is the secret key to obtaining everything that you want. Have you ever noticed that when you stop wanting something, the object of your desire comes naturally? You cannot keep it away from you. At this point, you have transcended the world. You challenge your limitations for the pure joy of the challenge. I found this process to be so true in my own life. I myself are still very much in this process, probably at around stage 5, slowly becoming centered now. After completing this growth spiral, I saw a change in my behavior, trying to skip stage 5 and 6 and go straight to the detachment. After a few days, however, I kept catching myself thinking about interactions and that I should have been more assertive. Clear sign that I was not really detached and still depriving myself of my need for importance and high self-esteem. You can't skip any of these stages, because when you do, your mind will slip back, because you are not psychologically developed enough for the next stage yet. It is like an upward spiral. You end up where you began. The change happens within. After one completion of the cycle, the next comes. This may be in another field or becoming even more detached. Where would you peg yourself in this process? This is one of many concepts in this book. I highly recommend you read it. Please subscribe to stay on track with your development. Feedback is always appreciated.